Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tin Man's Corner channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'll be reacting to another Midnight Tales video for you guys. This one's 4 creepy true college horror stories. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road and in the bag. Alrighty, here we go.
I was a freshman at a small college called Five Towns College in Long Island, New York.
Okie dokie.
In 2020, when the coronavirus pandemic was still going on. It is a performing arts college. I majored in music performance with a minor in audio production. Not that many people know about this college. This has to be the worst college in New York. They overpay a lot of people who can't afford college. They will accept anybody in. The professors and advisors don't care about their jobs. They pass anyone and let them all graduate. And the people who actually study hard and graduate don't ever get jobs from the majors they studied in. And worst of all, this campus used to be a middle school. I had graduated this past May, and I am happy as hell to finally get out of that dumpy school. I started taking classes there in August of 2020. I trusted this college to be a good experience at first, and I have since regret doing that. There were a lot of weird other students there who had horrible social skills, and there was a lot of other people smoking weed all day.
If you're going to create a college, I would recommend just building one from the ground up instead of making one out of a middle school. I mean, come on. And plus, if I was the dean of that college, I'll be picking trustworthy professors and tutors just to teach the students, because I don't want them just passing everybody and then can't get jobs for what they're majoring in. I mean, that is stupid. And the fact that they got a lot of people just smoking weed. If I was the inspector of this place, I'd be shutting it down.
I didn't really like anybody there and their antics, but there was one person that I disliked more than anyone else. There was this 23-year-old freshman guy named Jeremy. He was a theater kid. People say he is a creepy man that you should avoid at all times. A lot of other people told me that he stalks a lot of girls. I hoped that he would never stalk me, but sadly, this was so untrue. The first time I ever met him was in the school's cafeteria. He walked up to me as if we were best friends. He started off a conversation by saying, "Hello, my name is Jeremy. What about you?" I was being cautious of myself already because of what other people told me about his behavior. I just remained calmed and told him my name back and said that it was nice to meet you. The conversation then went on a little bit longer. We just told each other what our majors were and what we plan on doing after graduating college. Then my food came and I placed my food in a bag. He then waved and said, "Bye." I said bye back in a soft voice with a neutral expression on my face. I was really scared at that moment. I turned back one last time to just see him staring at me. Then I walked outside. I already got bad vibes from this dude. I want to make it clear that the next time we see each other, that I have no interest in talking to him. About a few days later, I saw him again in the cafeteria. This time, a bunch of people were there. He said hi again. I just said hi back and was ready to order my food and not waste time talking to this weirdo. He then started asking questions about how my day was and how classes were going. I just gave him simple one-word answers like yeah, no, or good. I did not want to talk to him. Then he asked a more creepy and personal question. He asked if I were single. Now this question I did not answer back. Thank God a cook who works there asked what I wanted to order, and I told him what I wanted. I then walked out from the kitchen area, then into the dining hall. I then heard Jeremy order, then him walking out of the kitchen right behind me. He then asked the same uncomfortable question again. I ignored him once again. Took him about 15 seconds for him to ask, "Why are you ignoring me?" Then another guy who was also waiting for his food jumped into the conversation and straight up told Jeremy to back off. "She has no interest in talking to you. Beat it." Then things had escalated quickly. Then Jeremy asked the other guy, "Do you want to fight me?" He replied back with a disgusted expression, "No, I am just telling you to back off." After this, me and the other guy got our food at the same time, and we walked out together. As we did this, we heard Jeremy make a loud grunt, and this stomp his feet really loudly as he just stood there still waiting for his food. I then thanked this guy for having my back. He introduced himself as Connor. We had a nice small talk and then walked back to our dorms. On an unrelated note, Connor turned out to be my boyfriend, and we're still a couple to this day.
Well, there's always a silver lining through a bad point in people's lives. Because you did not know that the person that saved you from this creepo turned out to be your significant other. But yeah, if I was in that girl's situation, I'd be telling that same person to just leave me alone, or I'll get the dean involved and see if that will make him stay away.
About 2 weeks have gone by, and I haven't seen Jeremy since. I was very surprised not to see him considering that this whole college has like 400 students, probably even less. I made a small friend group with the kids in my major, and we talked about our major. I felt more happy and safe at that moment, but I damn sure celebrated way too early. There was this one night when I was coming back from a party at a bar. I drove back to campus and I arrived back at around 11 o'clock. And as I walked back to my dorm, I saw Jeremy just standing outside of the college entrance doing nothing. He then turned his head to me. He was staring at me. I felt more like he was staring into my soul. I then walked away quickly because I was so freaked out at that moment. I got back to my dorm safely. A few nights later, things were getting a lot worse. One night I heard a knock at my window. I had a feeling that it was this Jeremy guy, but I wasn't 100% sure. It could be anyone. It is very uncommon to knock on someone's window this late at night.
Well, who else could it be? I'm thinking it is Jeremy. I mean, nobody else is going to be doing the same thing, knocking on your window, trying to get your attention. Oh man, this boy is mad that you annoyed him.
Maybe it could be a friend. My curiosity got the best of me. I took a deep breath, and in one swift motion pulled the shade back only to see, you know who, Jeremy.
Figured.
I threw the shade and fell back. How did he know where my dorm room was? I was so terrified at this moment that I locked myself in the bathroom. I was even more scared because I was living in a single. Luckily, Jeremy didn't live on campus as he lived nearby because he told me this. I then came out of the bathroom about 15 minutes later. I braced myself to open the shade again. So I did, and this time felt relieved that he wasn't there anymore. It only got worse 2 nights later. After coming back from a late-night choir rehearsal, I of course saw Jeremy standing right outside the dorm area. This time, as I unlocked the gate, I ran for it, and he was chasing me. Sadly, the gate didn't close in time, and he managed to get through it. I ran all the way to my dorm hall. I was hoping an RA would be present there sitting in the booth. Sadly, the RA was not there, but there was a sign that said, "I will be back in like 10, 15 minutes. I had to take a phone call." Of course they left, I said to myself. I found a perfect hiding spot. There was a lounge, and it had a bathroom there. The bathroom was open, and it had a door stopper keeping it open. So I hid behind that bathroom door. Yet again, the door to my dorm hall didn't close in time, and Jeremy had entered the building. He looked all over for me. He must have saw the bathroom, but he never walked in or saw my eyes through the side. He then yelled, "Fuck!" out loud, then left the building. I waited another minute to see if he was really gone, and he was. I then entered my dorm room, and the shades to the window were open, and was happy to see that he wasn't there. The next day, I told my friends about what Jeremy has been doing to me, telling them he knocked on my dorm room window and chased me to my dorm room. They were all appalled, and all agreed with each other that they will walk with me wherever I go. I felt so pleased with them, as they were real friends. Nothing happened for the next few days. A few nights later, I was chilling with my friends in my dorm room as they were there protecting me. We were eating food, listening to music, talking and playing video games. This was interrupted with a couple of bangs at the window. I then whispered to my friends to turn off the music. I then heard from outside the window, "Open up, I need to talk to you." It was Jeremy's voice. We all stayed silent. He then spoke again, saying, "Open the window right now, or else you will have to face consequences." Thankfully, the window was locked. Me and my friends all then went into the bathroom and hid, and silently called the campus police, which I should have done days before. As we were all in the bathroom, we heard Jeremy trying to open the window and break it down. Luckily, the campus police arrived in just 5 minutes. Not even. We then heard a knock at the door, and the person yelling out, "Resident Life, it's all good now. You can open the door." This was not Jeremy's voice, and we all sighed out of relief. I opened the door, and I told the head of Resident Life all of what had happened. They said they will contact the school administration and try to have him dismissed from the college campus. He also told me that they told him to leave or they will call the real cops. I thanked him because he was really nice. I then told my friends that it was okay now and you guys can leave. I hugged each one of them and thanked them all. The next day, I got some very exciting news. Jeremy had been removed from college campus and totally dismissed from the school. I was able to complete my college life without any more unsafe moments that could have me in danger. I still hated the college because it was just a bad school besides my creepy stalker encounters. I have not seen or heard of Jeremy since, and I want to keep it that way for the rest of my life.
First of all, that was a smart move, this girl, to go into that lounge area where there's a bathroom and hide. And then when he said the F word, he was like, dang it, I'd give up. Like he lost her. But he wasn't wise enough to look in that bathroom, which was good. And also to have like a bunch of your friends there in your room for extra protection. That's true friendship right there. Like that girl pointed out, she should have called campus police earlier. But I'm glad they were able to get him dismissed and out of that area. I know he ain't going to be going back there no more.
I was a junior at George Mason University in Virginia in 2022. I have since graduated last spring with a degree in musical theater. I stayed another year because of credit issues. From 2021 to 2024, I worked as an RA to keep myself productive. I enjoyed my job at times because I would throw events as RAs could do that, and I would also talk to other residents who live in the dorms. Other times I would enjoy it, specifically this one time. The 2022 spring semester was coming right up, and I moved in a day earlier because I was told to. The next day then came, and people were moving in. It was a busy day, and I was tired of walking around, helping people move in, and I barely got to sit down. Around 3 in the afternoon, a kid named Brandon arrived and was ready to move in. I introduced myself, checked him in, and he was all settled in. Something about him made me feel a little off. He seemed very socially awkward. I assumed he was somewhat on the spectrum, but that didn't really bother me. It was now March, and I was having a pretty great semester to say the least. I got a part that I wanted that I auditioned for, made a lot of new friends, and more importantly, I was getting good grades. We would rehearse every day, and one day, a band joined the rehearsals. Once they came, I saw who everyone in the band was. One face I recognized in that band. It was Brandon, a guy who dormed in the building that I worked in. He was the drummer for the band. I felt impressed that there was someone I knew outside of my classes that I would be seeing now regularly, considering how big the college actually is. When we were rehearsing together, he would continuously stare at me. I felt really uneasy, but I would just pretend that I didn't notice that he stared at me. I figured that he must have had a crush on me. We were together for, I would say, like a month and a half, and then we had our show, and that was that. I was so happy that we had finally finished with that play for 2 reasons. 1, we worked our asses off, and now we could have free time. 2, that boy Brandon won't have to stare at me anymore. I would still have to see him, because he stayed in the same building as me while working as an RA. It was now late April, and there were like 2 weeks left of school. Nothing happened for the next week.
Well, it's glad that you were able to work that play out and start to have fun and everything. That's cool. But I know that boy you're talking about is probably planning on doing something, so you better watch out. I'd be getting chills down my spine if somebody kept looking at me for a long time.
But the week later, something happened that never in a million years that I thought would have ever happened to me. On a Thursday night, it was my turn to work as the RA. Nothing happened for an hour. Everything was chill. I was on my phone scrolling through Instagram. All of a sudden, I heard footsteps approaching me. When I turned my head up, I saw pure horror. Right in front of me was Brandon. This time he was completely naked, and worst of all, he was smiling at me. I couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. I then was sending blow-up texts to all of my friends in a group chat about what was going on. As I was doing, I then heard another pair of footsteps. It was his roommate, Steven. He was running, and he begged me not to call the resident hall director. I said okay, and I saw him literally pulling and dragging Brandon to their room, and then went out of view. I was still processing what was going on. I then decided that I will take a short walk to clear my brain. I listened to Steven and didn't call the resident hall director. Saturday then came, and Brandon moved out that day. I had to act normal for my job. I saw his dad come to help him move out, and I helped him as well. Although I didn't tell my boss what he did, I did tell his dad. I expected him to completely lose it at Brandon, but he quite frankly did the complete opposite. He assured me that he just has autism, and that he isn't harmful. Using autism as an excuse for what he did is unacceptable.
Yeah, that is unacceptable, dude. Running around naked ain't funny. He's probably got more than autism. He's probably got something going on in his brain that's messed up, making him go berserk. And then the fact that his college roommate was telling him to not talk to the resident administration. Heck no, I'll just play along and be like, okay, I won't, and then secretly either text somebody in that or call them. I know people probably call me a snitch, but hey, I got to report it.
Most autistic people would not do that, as far as my knowledge, unless you have severe autism. The only thing I could think of was that he had an episode. I then checked Brandon out, and he and his father left. I now felt peace as they were gone. I told a few friends what had happened, and they told me something even more devastating. A formal dance took place 2 weeks ago, and I didn't end up going. At the formal, Brandon apparently took pictures under numerous girls' skirts, which included some of my friends. No girl knew about this until one guy told this to every girl who fell victim. I was so disgusted to hear this. I never saw Brandon again after this. He either left the school or moved to another campus. The scene of him keeps replaying in my head every day, and I had to immediately see a therapist after this. I was so traumatized. I'm pretty relieved that I didn't see him again, and I want to keep it that way.
Well, I'm glad that this guy told you about what he's been doing, but that is disgusting. He is definitely a creepy person. No, I would have gone ahead and called the staff after finding out that information and be like, this student that already just left was doing this, and be like, ban him from that university so he won't be able to go back there for anything or any college. And his dad saying it was just his autism. Are you kidding me? You need to get your son checked out, dude. He's mentally disturbed.
I am now currently a junior at Troy University in Alabama, but this story took place when I was freshman. Since my first year, I have joined the college marching band. I play the sousaphone, and this year, I have been promoted to an assistant section leader. I'm having a lot of fun, and I made so many friends along the way. But this one person almost made me quit the band. It was at the time of band camp when this took place. and it always takes place on the first week of August. It is extremely grueling. I already knew some people in the band from my high school. I was really excited because my biggest dream ever was to be in a college marching band. I enjoyed my first 4 days of band camp, but the fifth day was the worst day of my life, and is also a day that I'm trying to forget, but it won't escape in my head. It was now the fifth day of band camp, and I had just finished eating dinner. Nighttime rehearsal was going to start in 25 minutes, so I headed back to the locker room where we put our instruments in storage. Before I went there, I went to the bathroom first, because I really had to go pee. I walked into the bathroom and into a stall. The next part of the story should only be listened to if your age is 18 and up. Viewer discretion is advised. After walking into the stall, I sat down on the toilet and opened the lid. As I was about to pull my pants down, I then saw something that would forever have demons in me. What I saw was a man crawling under the stall on the left side of me. I instantly recognized his face. He was also in the marching band. He was in the drum line, more specifically the cymbal section, but I didn't know his name. He gave a creepy smile, then proceeded to pull my panties down and took off my shirt. I was so scared at this moment. I couldn't move. He was holding me so tight. I couldn't escape his grip because he was way too strong and fat. All I could do was scream for help, and I screamed so loudly. I then heard a bathroom door open with rushing footsteps to the stall that I was in. I felt so much hope that this person would help me. This person then kicked the stall door 3 times until it opened. This person turned out to be one of the female GAs, which also stands for graduate assistant. I saw a look on the man's face of pure terror as he just got caught. The GA then yelled very loudly, "That's right, get the fuck out of here before I call the police. Don't ever come back here." And so he ran off. She then comforted me and asked if I was okay. I gave her my honest answer and said I was not, and thanked her for saving me. She then told me, "Come on, let's go report this to the head of the band." And so I went with her to the band field where he was already there. We told him what happened, and he was very alarmed after hearing this. He also told me that I can skip rehearsal tonight and come back tomorrow morning, and I agreed with him. Later that night, I got a bunch of texts from my friends asking me where I was and if I was okay. I had to tell them the truth because I knew these people from high school, and I trusted them so much. They were sick to their stomachs as I told them this. The next morning, I got amazing news and horrible news. I'll start off with the amazing news, which was that this guy, who was named Kata, had been removed from the marching band.
That is good. I'm glad that other female was able to walk in and save her from that dude, because it looked like he was about ready to, well, I don't want to say the word, but rape her. If she didn't come in there, she would have been way more scarred than what she already went through. But let's see what the bad news is.
The horrible news, which is an understatement, is that apparently multiple women had come forward and revealed that Kata had raped them.
Oh, hey, no.
I felt sick reading about this. Even worse is that he had never been expelled for his actions.
Whoa, what? Never been expelled? Are you kidding me? I mean, is this school trying to cover up what he's been doing? Oh my God, they're a bunch of sickos.
And he is still enrolled as a full-time student as of today. The reason why he is still enrolled is that his mother works in admissions. He was also supposed to be in juvie for sexual assault, but got bailed out because his father is an ex-cop. It seems to me as if he can do whatever he wants. It's just the sad truth. There's not much I can really do about it. After I finish marching band this fall, I am going to speak with the dean of the university, and will try to have Kata and his mother completely removed from the school.
There you go, right there. That's the right answer. The only reason he can't be put out is because his father is an ex-cop, so he did not spend no time in juvie, and his mother happens to work in admissions. So, no, if parents like that try to keep her kids in a university campus like this and don't want to take responsibility of what their son's doing, then They don't need to be involved with the school. Sorry about that. That was my mom calling. But what was I saying? Oh, yes. The people that got raped by this guy, I hope they did go forward and try to do a lawsuit against not only the parents, but also the school. Because it's ridiculous that they can't get rid of him just because his mama's head of admissions. That lady is truly wicked. I hope that she does testify or tell her story to the dean, because they won't be dealing with that sort of action, because if that was in the press, they'll have a tarnished history on their hands.
I was a freshman at San Diego State University, and I was already having a blast. I would go to countless parties and would sometimes get blacked out drunk. I would love each time I would go to a party. Only this one specific night made me realize what the reality of what college parties are. I got invited to a Pi Beta Phi sorority party. Now I heard that this sorority had the worst reputation on campus, but I decided to go against my judgment because there was nothing I liked more than partying. So I ended up going. It was 7:30 when I arrived at the party. It looked really lit as I saw a lot of people there. I walked in and I saw some people that I had already met before there, and we greeted each other. Next person I saw was a girl named Gabby. I saw her at prior parties, and she was also in my English class. We said hi to each other and gave each other a hug. We talked for a little while, and then she told me that she had to use the bathroom. She was gone for like 5 minutes. After 5 minutes had passed, I saw a wallet dropped behind me. I turned back to see who dropped it, and Gabby was right behind me. She asked if I could pick it up for her. I told her sure. Now this was about 2 feet away from the couch, so I had to get up, took a step or two, and picked it up, and gave it back to her while she was still behind me. She then thanked me, and she walked back over to the couch. We talked more for like another 20 minutes, and I kept sipping my drink of beer. All of a sudden, my vision got blurry, and then I was out 2 seconds later. I woke up the next morning to see my jeans, along with my underwear, pulled down. My whole crotch was exposed. It felt very wet, and it had a strong odor smell. My heart was racing, and I assumed the worst, so I called a car service to take me to a hospital. I then arrived at the hospital, walked to the front desk, and asked if I could see a doctor. The person working at the front desk told me I could, and that I would have to wait. I then met with a doctor. I had a checkup with the doctor, and what they found inside of my body would end up becoming my worst nightmare. I had been roofied, and I was assaulted. The doctor found out who did it. It was none other than Gabby. I was in so much disgust that I threw up in a garbage can right next to me. Now I finally remember when I got roofied. It was when I picked up her wallet. She purposely dropped it so she can drug me and sexually assault me when I was out cold. I called my parents and discussed the situation I was in. They couldn't even give me any advice, as they were just in as much awe as I was in. A few days had passed, and I made 2 decisions. First decision was to completely drop out of college because of a horrendous incident that occurred to me, and my second decision was to press charges against Gabby and to sue her. A trial took place 2 weeks later. I testified against Gabby, and she was found guilty and was later sentenced to 8 years in prison for sexual assault. I never went back to college after this and have since then worked normal jobs from 9 to 5.
That would be every guy's fear. Getting roofied, and then all of a sudden you see yourself on the bed, half naked, just so somebody can get, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but satisfaction off of you. Ugh. I'm glad he pressed charges, because that was just uncalled for. Be like you were having a good time with a friend, and all of a sudden that friend turned out to be a rapist, basically. Then they gave her 8 years. I would gave her 15. But anyway, that's going to be it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more Midnight Tales reaction like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man's Corner channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. and have a nice day, buddy.